Hi guys, hope you're having a great Saturday. We are. It's the storm has passed. Elsa didn't do any kind of damage here that I can tell. We had some heavy rain and a couple of boomers in the middle of the night, but really nothing to get too excited about. So we came through that storm unscathed, which is good. Hopefully, our neighbors to the south that dealt with her yesterday made out okay too, because you just never know with some of these storms; they can be really bad. We've had a really interesting week.
Sorry.
Um,
I had to make sure that the
Goof.
audio was good.
yeah, the audio is fine apparently. We've had an interesting week. We had a lot of mail show up this week, and so we have to say some thank yous. We also have a couple of people that I've got to say something special to. So right off the hop, Linda Safranco. Both Renee and I wanted to send you and your husband a very happy anniversary wishes. Hope you have a wonderful time at dinner tonight and enjoy it. You get to spend some time with family and, of course, with your hubby. So happy anniversary. We also, Renee got some happy mail.
I have facts.
I say Renee because, well, it was addressed to me, but it's definitely something more in his keeping. This came from Anne McGaugh. I'm going to say this wrong. I know, Anne, and I'm so
McGaugh.
sorry. McGaugh. She. I'm going to read you the note. She said, "I thought of you and Renee when I saw this little vacuum cleaner on Facebook. It's supposed to be good to pick up glitter." And this is flippin' awesome. We've been having a field day playing with this little rig. It is a tabletop vacuum cleaner, guys. How cool is that? So I wanted to say, Anne, thank you so much. It was very sweet of you to think of us. And it actually came in quite handy. So Renee will be keeping all of the glitter off of his workstation.
Yay.
So I wanted to say thank you for that. Thank you very much. So there's that. This is something new that I saw today. Or not today, but earlier this week. I talk about my black erasers all the time. And I know that some of you have a hard time finding them. However, I did find this the other day. I tried out one. It actually worked beautifully. This is a Tombow Mono. These are black erasers as well. These are plastic erasers, and they worked really well. So if you can't find the Factus Black, these ones actually were available at places like Office Depot and Staples. So if you can't find the Factus Black, there's an option for you. You could try those Tombow ones. Those are pretty good. And I got really excited this week because I got to show you this.
No, we can have glitter, right, Renee?
We no. Still can't have glitter? He knows it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable down here. But I got a really neat toy, something that I work with regularly. I have a beautiful light table that had been given to me by Artograph. It's a gorgeous light tablet. It's LED. It's absolutely beautiful. It sits on my drawing station, and I use it every day. The problem is that they can be very expensive. I know the one that I have is in about the $300 mark, thereabouts.
$300.
I use it every day when I'm drawing, when I'm designing. It helps with accuracy. It helps create really clean lines. It makes the tracing and transferring of my line drawings and perfecting my line drawings that much easier. And then I came across this. I got to show you this because I was actually looking for another one for my painting station because this is where I'm usually tracing line drawings to put onto things. And sometimes I just want to make adjustments. And I found this. This is a really lightweight version of my bigger one. It's about the same size as a sheet of paper. So it's actually ideal for my painting table. Works beautifully. You can adjust the light on it. Just turn it on and you can make it brighter or less bright, or you can shut it off altogether. It just plugs in, simple USB plug-in, no different than your phone. It's super lightweight. It's very thin. Comes with the little pads attached to the back so it doesn't slide on your table. really great rig, and you can find these on Amazon, and these ones run in about anywhere from the $50 to $100 range depending on the size. So they're relatively inexpensive in comparison. So if you were looking for something like that, just to help, one, it helps with the accuracy when you're tracing line drawings, but it helps me when I'm working on line drawings. Instead of constantly reproducing the same thing, I can make really clean line drawings and whatnot for some of my patterns. So I thought I would show you this because this is a really affordable solution to that. And at the same time, can you hand me that box that's up there?
Oh, is that for somebody?
So I have another one. So there's one in here, and so what I'm going to do for the month of July is every order that goes through our website, including just e-packets and whatnot, they're all going to go into a bin, and at the end of the month, we're going to draw, and the winner is going to get one of these light tablets. So that's what we're going to do. So awesome. I love mine. I like my big one. It's great for things, but this is so handy to have it on my painting table. And I thought it would make a great prize for a contest. So anybody that places an order on the website, doesn't matter what it is, your name's going into the hat. And at the end of the month, July 30th.
A lot of people are saying they already have one.
Oh, good. They're awesome.
I have the same light box. What brand is it?
This one is called Mustache. It's from a Staples company. It's not Staples, a 123 Inc.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was an affordable light tablet, very handy, very handy, very, very handy. So I thought it would make a fun prize. So there we go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put that up there. What are we doing today? We are painting roses today.
Don't move, Bob.
I'm sorry. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to push Bob out of the way. Poor Bob. So hard done by.
Can you turn that light off?
I'm going to turn this.
Oh, I just noticed both cats are down here.
Oh, good. Fabulous. Gizmo will be singing the song of his people any minute now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be painting the Peace Rose today. This is one of my favorite pieces. I designed and painted it for my mother-in-law. And it's different. I think it's just different. It's a fun one, and it's got an interesting background. That's a simple technique, but you're going to love it. So if you're ready to get started, Selma.
Clicky.
Clicky.
There you go.
He's been playing with the cameras. So I took my ruler and I measured off.
Trouble.
Oh, Trouble's here?
Yeah, Sheila.
Oh, Sheila's not Trouble. Sheila's awesome.
Sheila's Trouble.
So I've...
Just like the rest of them.
They're all Trouble.
They're all Trouble.
So I've measured in 3.5 inches from the left side coming in, and I've laid down a piece of tape at the 3.5 inch mark. So this space over here from the edge of the tape to this side is 3.5 inches, and the remaining surface...
You can bring it closer to you.
I know. We're going to use this Harlequin stencil for this part. I think this is probably one of my favorite stencils. So I take mine off the page. I don't want things just inside because then it has an unfinished appearance to it. So I make sure that my diamonds go off the page or off the surface on both ends, and that it lines up nicely with the edge of the tape. So I'm just going to tape it in place. And what'll you bet I didn't...
I was going to say,
is.
one is important if they are trouble. To me, yes. If they're trouble, it means they're important too.
So I'm going to tape mine in place. And the colors that I'm using today are, I'm using copper.
How long can you keep your sleeve out of the palette?
It's anybody's guess. And the other is 24 karat gold. You can use dazzling metallics for this or the extreme sheen. I'm a big fan of the extreme sheen metallics. So that's the ones I'm using today. See, almost did it already.
We just featured Tracy in my blog.
Woo!
That is why I was late. I was writing.
So I'm using a little bit of champagne gold, and we're going to use copper. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. I'm using,
Oh, what size is your surface?
the surface I've got is an 8x10 for this. The original one was an arched plaque, and it's very pretty. But I could not find one. Thought I had one in the studio, but I didn't. So I'm using an 8x10 panel, and I'm going to apply that 24 karat gold, circular fashion, change directions frequently. I'm not being too heavy-handed with this. I just want sort of a light dusting of metallic on this. I don't want it too heavy. So it doesn't need to be fully, oh crud. Way too much paint.
We should get Sheila. You should put the link to your blog in the chat. So people
Yes.
can go read your articles.
Please do. Those of you that don't know Sheila Landry, she's amazing. Here's something that a lot of you might not know. I mean, a lot of people know that she owns tollpaintingdesigns.com, that she's an extraordinarily gifted scroll saw artist. The work she does with a scroll saw is just absolutely amazing. But one of the things you might not know is that she also designs needlework patterns. She does the most incredible embroidery. Absolutely spectacular.
Here's a good question. I have a cheapy stencil brush, but it keeps losing bristles all the time. Does Dynasty stencil brushes lose bristles?
Most stencil brushes will lose bristles. And that's for a couple of reasons. If they're brand new and they're losing bristle, it's usually just loose hair, and that will stop after a little while. If a stencil brush continues to lose hair, there's a difference between it falling out and breaking off. So if the hair is short, the chances are the hair is breaking and the brush needs to be conditioned. If they are falling out, then it means that the glue that holds the hair in place is not doing its job or has deteriorated. So for the most part, I have stencil brushes, Dynasty stencil brushes, that I've been using for 8 or 9 years, and they still hold up.
Thanks for reading between my lines, Renee. You're welcome.
Said Sheila.
No, that was I cannot pronounce that name. Jael? Jill? Jill?
Jill?
Jill?
Jail?
JL? Jael? What do you use to condition the brush?
You know what? The best conditioner I've ever found for a natural hairbrush is good old-fashioned Tame hair conditioner. A little bit of that in your brush, put it in, let it sit, rinse it out, shape your brush, let it dry.
Okay, it is JL.
JL. Okay.
JL.
Pretty. So, yeah, good old-fashioned Tame hair conditioner, or any hair conditioner actually, will work just fine. When a brush starts to break like that, it's because the natural hair is drying out and it's breaking off. So just treat it like your own hair. You can. The only place I've ever seen it was in like dollar stores and whatnot. But yeah, you can still get it. Just, any inexpensive hair conditioner. A good quality brush conditioner will do the same thing. You just need something that's going to rehydrate the bristle.
Oh, I can answer that question. Dynasty makes both, from my understanding.
What's that?
Flat top or domed stencil brushes.
Yes, they do.
Both.
They make this one for me, which is this is the what's referred to as the texture stencil brush. You'll notice it's got what looks like a whole bunch of little brushes inside. This one is designed to be used on textured surfaces like fabric, or working on walls, or working on larger surfaces that have perhaps textures and whatnot added to them. And they're designed so that you can get the paint down into the texture. That's why they're built this way. They also work beautifully on smooth surfaces. So this one will play double duty.
It's almost like that one's got your name on it.
It does have my name on it. Silly bugger. And then there's this one, which you see me use a lot, this is the Dynasty Stencil Pro. This one is not a natural hair. This one is. So you can see the difference just by looking at them. This is a natural hair. It's a hog's bristle. No, the animal is not hurt to harvest that. And this one is a synthetic. So this one, these ones hold up beautifully long term. They don't ever really need conditioning. You just have to keep them clean. And this one, if you're going to continue using them, you have to make sure they're kept clean and that they're conditioned every once in a while. And they will last you for years.
Hi from OKC.
Oklahoma City. Great little city. Hoping to be out there this fall.
Wink, wink. There may be a life
There may be a life. Yeah.
while we're there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I might not be there. Who knows? We'll see.
So I'm going to continue that diamond pattern down to the bottom using that gold. And again, I'm not using a ton of paint. I know it shows up quite bright on that black background, but I'm not using a ton of paint.
Well, it looks like only 59 people are in for the drawing.
How many people are in the room?
92.
Goodness. So we've got what, three giveaways today. I was checking to see.
Three surprises.
Yeah, there's some nice little stuff in there. It's got a set of filberts, Dynasty Black Gold filberts.
Ooh.
So there's 3 sets to give away. And they're all packaged. All we need is a name to go on them. So I've got that.
Already have postage.
I know. I got them all ready.
Look at that. Look at you.
Kind of scary. I'm scared. So I'm going to reposition my stencil, and now I'm going to take a little bit of that copper. Just a little. I don't want a ton of it in there. You can do a little bit. You can do a lot. That's entirely up to you.
Ooh, okay.
What's up?
Most likely not. Jason Rhodes asks, I like your designs. Would you mind if I printed them off and sold them at a local festival?
No, that would be an infringement of copyright. I'm sorry.
They are copyright protected.
Yes, they are.
So, sorry. It's appreciated. The thought is nice, but legally speaking, no.
No. So I'm just adding a little bit of copper.
Did you say paint them? I thought he said sold them.
Did he say paint them? If he said paint them.
Oh, if I painted them and sold them at a local festival.
Oh, God, no. Absolutely.
Okay,
Knock yourself out. Oh, he thought you meant print them. I said, no, that would not be on.
Blech.
But yes, absolutely. You can paint them to your heart's content.
My dyslexia is acting up.
So I'm just putting a little touch of copper into that gold. No, when it comes to craft fairs and things like that, absolutely, you may paint from my designs and sell them. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
I
thought you said print it.
That's what I read it as.
Okay.
Dyslexia. Woo!
So just that little touch of copper changes how that gold looks in there, warms it up quite nicely. So it's just a little bit. So I'm going to let that dry, and while it's drying, I'm going to take my tape off. And again, remember, 45-degree angle, flatten as low to the surface as you can get, and it won't pull off your paint.
Glasses, maybe? No. My brain works faster than my mouth. Sadly.
And that's saying something.
It does. My brain does work a lot faster than my mouth does. And it can get me in trouble.
That's the understatement of the century.
You'll also hear me stutter or make long pauses.
Yep.
So it's my mouth trying to catch up to my brain.
So I am going to, this is called back taping. I'm going to tape onto the gold diamonds right along that edge. So now that 3.5-inch space is completely open. And this time I'm going to use this one. So if you're looking for these, do you have the item number for that one?
No, but I can get it. It's easy.
This one is this is the 1/2-inch Harlequin stencil. It's in the M square. I know somebody's going to ask. Other side, at the back.
Pretty sure it is 35 or 36. It's 35.
It's 35. So it's M square, M2-35. This one is in the M2 design.
Yeah.
And the other one we're using, this is, I believe, 03. Hello?
Huh?
Flourish is 3, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 30.
Yeah. So again, I like to take my stencil off the surface a little bit. Like so. And I tape that in place. I love this stencil. This flourish one is so pretty. And I'm going to start with the copper this time.
And there's the other troublemaker.
Is Deb?
No, Sandy.
Sandy.
Deb hasn't woken up yet.
That's true. Still early days.
She needs a cop.
She needs a coffee or two, yeah.
Before she goes out into public.
So I'm just using a little bit of that copper. My favorite copper in the Decor line is Worn Penny. That one's in the Dazzling Metallics. I didn't have any, so I'm using copper for this.
Worn Penny?
It's called Worn Penny. It's sort of an antique copper. Yeah, it's very pretty. So
Does it have a little green in it?
Nope. It actually looks more traditionally bronze, that deep reddish, like a brown pink. It's quite pretty.
'Cause I'm thinking like really old penny, and I'm still seeing like that little
no
specks of green.
No copper patina in it.
No patina.
No patina. So now, in the original design, I used Tim Holtz flourish, and I don't have those. Sandy has them on her website, so you can check on Sandy's website if you want the original Tim Holtz flourish.
Having the text on the video is very distracting with the chat. So why do we need it on the screen? Because there's a lot of people that use full screen and then they can't see the chat.
So I put that copper on there. Now this stencil, I have the ability to move it around. Just trying to locate, there it is. So, okay.
Does Sandy carry Tim Holtz stuff?
She does carry some, yes. Okay, I'm trying to locate my... Okay, there it is there. Okay. So I have the ability to line this back up and then make this look up here as if it's continuing seamlessly.
I just bought 12 8x10 canvases at the dollar store this morning.
It's an awesome place to get them.
No kidding. The dollar store
actually sells pretty decent art supplies in some of them, yes.
Yeah. They got the gesso base.
Yep, you can get triple primed.
Primed. Nice.
So,
oh God.
I love this copper against the black. It's very rich. And then I'm going to move the stencil one more time. I just think this is so cool. Okay, where are you? There you are. Goodness.
No one could do that before coffee.
I haven't had any.
Lining up the stencil.
I haven't had any coffee.
And she drinks decaf, so she's not like the rest of the world population.
So there we go. So
Wow,
yeah, it's a nice.
that's like Lego.
Yeah, like Legos. So I'm going to line my stencil up one more time, and this time I'm going to go back in with a little bit of that gold. And
Glitter grenades. Sorry.
glitter grenades. Honestly. I got some really cool stuff this week. That's a glitter paste.
It's a paste?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's not loose glitter.
Okay.
You're okay. So I just went in with a little bit of that gold. Just a little. Line up the stencil nice and tight so that it's accurate. And then I like to just pop in a little bit of gold in a few places. You don't need to have a ton of it, but because we've got the copper and the gold over here, you want to have a little bit of that gold on this side as well. Just a little. And it just brightens the copper up just a little bit, so you get a nice little shimmer in there.
It does look like a worn penny. Sorry.
Stay with the tour, son.
I think you should add a little patina to it, like adding a little.
You want a little patina in there with the copper? You can do that.
Just like maybe on a corner or an
Actually,
edge.
it's a good idea. Let me show you something. Really this is fun. It's a fun way to jazz things up. I'm gonna tape that in place.
What kind of green would you use?
I'm not gonna use green. I'm gonna use blue.
What?
Bahama blue.
Okay, now I'm curious. I want to see how you oxidize copper.
So I'm just pulling a little tiny bit of Bahama blue. And put a little bit on my stencil brush. And I'm just going to, in a select few places, just put a little bit of that blue in.
Because it's semi-transparent. You're using the copper as you... Oh! That's awesome.
So that tiny little bit of Bahama blue can act like a little bit of patina. So you can be selective about where you put it. You can use a little bit or you can use a lot. It's entirely up to you.
That's why you need to know color theory. Because you get stuff like that. And you're able to know exactly when to use it and how to use it.
And how much of it to use. You don't need to use a ton of it. That's the best part. There we go. So we have a little bit of patina in there.
How would you do a patina on gold?
Gold doesn't oxidize.
All metals oxidize.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a color. That's why gold is used in jewelry, because it doesn't turn green or black or
It's brown.
over time.
Yeah.
There's your oxidization. So you would just use like a asphaltum over top of it to age it. That's it.
Gotcha. What
So
about mercury?
hard to oxidize a liquid.
But it's still a metal.
It is.
And yes, it does oxidize.
Okay.
But turns into mercury gas.
Okay. So I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to put our border in.
It looks white.
Yes, it reads as white a little bit.
Give me 1 second. I might be able to color correct it for red. I can color correct. Then there yellow. Could be just too bright.
Could be. So I'm finding it actually just a touch too bright in general. So I'm going to thin out just a little bit of lamp black, heavily thinned, mind you. And I'm going to brush some of that over top of it because I'm finding that gold is a little on the bright side. Might be a little bit garish. So,
Saturation's a little too high too.
little wash of lamp black. I'm going to do the same over top of that copper, just a little, just to subdue it a touch.
There. And this was a wash of what?
Lamp black, just a thin wash of it, very thin. And I'm going to dry that. Just knocks the gold back a little bit so it doesn't look so brassy.
Yeah, we got a hot spot there in that light effect.
Yeah. So I'm going to dry this really quick. And then I'm going to put a nice little border on. And I'll show you, I have a trick to get nice fine lines. If you don't have a super fine or nice fine gold paint pen, I do have a trick.
What brush are you using? I missed that. It's not a fugly brush?
Oh no, I just used a big flat wash for that. That's all. So I'm laying down a piece of tape, like so. And I'm going to use my big ruler for this. Good gravy. God. I had to go hunting. So I have this tape running there, and I'm going to put my ruler as close to that line as I can get and still see the background. And I'm going to use my gold paint pen. So I've got perhaps 1/16 of an inch showing, and I'm going to run my paint pen so that it overlaps both the surface and the tape. This pen has just about seen its day. This one's almost time for a new one. So then I can take my ruler out of the way, and I'm going to remove my tape. And again, so that's what you do if you don't have a fine gold pen. It'll give you a nice fine line, but you don't have to fiddle around with that big pen. So if you don't have a fine one and you want a nice fine line, that's how you do that. So now we're ready to trace and transfer that design on. And I've chosen this new one. Now I like this narrow side to be on the left, that flourish, but that's just me. You can choose whichever side you want. That's entirely up to you. And I want my line drawing to be about 1/2 inch from the top, I think. Yep. So I'm going to tape this in place. Yep. Now I'm going to use white graphite to transfer mine, and we'll do this. This will work up really quickly. And I'm using a white graphite. This is Deckwart's white graphite. I really like this one. This one is really good. Except, there we go. Except it's too big. And I'm going to use my red Uniball to trace. And this is just like the bee's knees. I love being able to see where I've been. And I still get that super fine line, which is a big deal for me. I don't use a stylus when
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us now?
We have sound, yay. I wonder if it's just that. We good? Yeah.
Hopefully we're back. Not sure what happened there.
We good?
Sandy, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we got a bunch of yeses.
Okay, good. I had a bad moment there. So I'm just going to quickly finish tracing this. And while I'm boring you to tears with this, maybe Renee can find us a winner for one of those door prizes.
Sure. I have 86 people that need to go onto the spinning wheel of fortune. Not misfortune.
He's found this new gadget online now. He's going to use it every time. If he turns up the volume, there's even horns and applause. So I think, oh crap, missed a spot. There we go.
You gotta
All
hit
right.
the like button though.
Yep.
If you want goodies.
Yeah. If you want to be part of the goodies, you have to hit that like button or subscribe button or chat. So the color that I'm using for this is warm white. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. You can use light, like a gesso or light buttermilk, or I'm using warm white because that's what I have on my palette. I was base coating a new design this morning and I had a little more paint on the palette than I really needed. So because I'm working over such a dark surface, I'm going to put down a little bit of that warm white. I'm going to switch to a round. So warm white is sort of my go-to color. I use it for so many things. And for these leaves, I just need to put down a little bit of white to kind of act as a barrier, because I'm going to use a green, and the green is a little on the transparent side, so that green will be influenced by the black underneath if I don't put something underneath it. So I like to use a little bit of warm white. Sue Braun, you just want a brush set. So Sue, just jump onto the website, go to the speech bubble in the lower right hand corner on the home page, and send us a quick message with your shipping information, and we will get it out to you first thing Monday.
There we go. Zebron! Boom.
So yeah, there's I've got 3 sets of Dynasty Filberts. They're Filbert Waves, actually. It's a nice little 2-brush set. I think it's a number 10 and a number 6. So it's a nice little set, great for doing textures.
Oh, good. Congratulations to Subron. I got my fugly brush and riggers yesterday from Sandy McTeer. Thank you. Yes, sound is back.
Yes, we got sound back. Thank goodness. Don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think the camera just froze up, but
Gotcha.
I think it didn't like it when I touched the autofocus.
Oh, that might be. Mess with my settings. So I'm using warm white to base in everything. And you'll notice I leave little spaces between things. Now, this base coat that I'm putting in here does not have to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. We are just putting down enough color to act as an undercoat. And I leave little spaces between things for a reason. I hate retracing designs on. It drives me insane.
You print your patterns on vellum?
On vellum? No, I don't. I print my patterns on copy paper. Always have.
It makes the project more accurate and saves my hands. I can see that.
Yep. I've always used copy paper. It's just how I do it. I think everyone has their own process. Depends on who taught you. I was taught to put everything on tracing paper, and I hate tracing paper. So when I started designing on my own, I do my designs right onto regular paper first. So I have over the years just simply done it this way.
I did some tattoo designs on them.
Oh, you can draw on almost anything, but I work on 28-pound extra bright white paper.
I got 2 fugly brushes, now I need to paint them.
They'll encourage you, just in use. You'll start working on those with fugly brushes, and they'll get so fugly that you'll have no other choice but to paint them. Because you will be. Either that or you'll want to replace them, and they work too good when they're old and beat up.
Linda Safranco is asking, my mom wants to know what size brush you are using.
This one is a number 5 round. I'm just using this one mainly because I like the point on it. But a number 5 round is a good size for this space. It fits nicely in here. And as you can see, I'm not really worrying too much about whether or not this is, a perfectly opaque base coat. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm just painting in every segment of these flowers and the leaves. And I leave that small space. I'm wearing a shirt with bell sleeves today. Renee keeps waiting for me to drop and drag them through the paint.
Yep. What was this? My husband is getting mad at me for using all the ink in the printer. I don't care. I just keep printing. Linda,
Linda's got her mom visiting her. And so they've been spending their time painting.
Has your mom become a subscriber yet? Isn't it hard to leave with small space base coating? Isn't it hard to leave those small spaces when base coating?
No, not really. I find it saves me so much time on the other end to load up some more wet paint. I do like this. This part of this is tedious, but it serves a purpose, having that showing you how to do those little fine lines. The one thing you'll find if you do it this way is that one, the accuracy of your pattern is going to be a bit better because you're not having to retrace things on. And we all know that it never is exactly the same as that line drawing by the time you get to that point. So I just, over the years, have learned not to worry too much about it. If my line drawing is accurate, then I'm fine.
What brand is the brush? Dynasty, of course.
It's a Dynasty brush, yep. Always.
Always Dynasty.
I'm a Dynasty girl.
The background in the pattern says Prussian blue with black work.
Yep. The original piece is base coated with Prussian blue and then a wash of lamp black over top of it. It is very pretty, actually. It takes on an almost velvet look. I was in a hurry and I couldn't find my Prussian blue, so I went with a black for this one.
Really could use any
dark color will work. Even dark green, like a black green, would look really nice too.
Or red.
Yeah, almost any color would look great back there.
Red and gold looks good. I like red and gold.
Yep.
It reminds me of Scarlet's.
Yeah.
That high brass and...
Yep, polished brass and buckles.
Yep.
Braiding.
Braiding. I never got the pith helmet, okay? Those don't look comfy anyway.
No.
I don't like things resting on my chin like that. Basically using my lower lip to keep my hat on.
Yep. That's about it. Your father wore that uniform a lot.
Yeah, well, luckily the first time I ever had to wear it, I was Master Corporal and I didn't have to wear the pith helmet because I was in charge. No, instead I got the commander's cap. The one with the bill.
Yep. The pillbox.
Yes, that one.
No.
And I only ever wore it twice.
Your father was honor guard for about 3 or 4 years, so he wore the thing every time they had to be on parade.
Your drill has to be sharp. What do we got here? You can order from the brush guys and use promo code Tracy. Look at you, Sandy, being awesome.
And Sandy's got her poop in a group.
Yeah. Red and gold are my favorite combinations. That was Jessica. Pro Art makes a tracing vellum.
Vellum.
Vellum?
Vellum.
Vellum?
I have some here.
That can be used with a copier, inkjet, laser, or jet printer.
Yeah. I have some here, but my laser printer doesn't like it at all. So we're just about done here with this, all this base coating. This part is always so tedious, but necessary. So just the stem left to do. And then we'll go on to doing these leaves. Now, these leaves are done with a particular technique. It's a chisel blend technique, meaning that you're going to stand the brush up on its chisel edge when you're doing this.
Oh, Sheila's got a good question. Have you used the new suede paint?
I have. I love the suede paint. It has a really nice texture to it. Actually, I think...
Faye Reed's having issues with power and internet going out right now.
Oh, she must have... Well, Faye may have gotten some residual from the storm. So, on the table, the flower pot holding all of the pens, right at the back.
At the very back?
Yeah, that's the one. You want to hand that to me? Okay, so Sheila asked about the Deckwort suede paint. This is what it looks like. It takes on this look of brushed suede. It has a little bit of texture in it. It's fairly fine. It's fun to paint over because you can dry brush over top of it and get all sorts of interesting effects. But it essentially has this ultra fine sand-like texture added to it. And so you get what appears to be a suede finish on it. It's actually not as rough as you would think it would be. And then once you put a coat of Deckwort Soft Touch varnish over it, it is just so slick. I just love this finish. Even for decorative painting, I love the results. It's just got this really pretty, soft finish to it that just, it's gorgeous. And it comes in a variety of colors. This one, I forget what this one is called, but it does. It looks like terracotta. And it really appeals to me. So it gives you this really neat finish. It's fun stuff. I love working on it, especially for, decorative pieces for outdoors. It's great. So I've got my leaves based. So I'm going to show you something. This is the reason I use a little bit of that white underneath this. You can do this with gesso or light buttermilk. As long as you've got a light color underneath it, you'll have an easier time with this. So antique green is quite a transparent color.
What branch of the service were you in? Oh, I think that's directed at me.
Yeah.
I was Army.
He was armored. Combat arms.
Reconnaissance.
He did sneak and peek stuff.
I played peekaboo without the boom.
More like a boom.
I specialized in urban reconnaissance and chemical and biological warfare.
There you go. So you can see how transparent that green is when we put it over that white. But I'm going to do, don't let this scare you, but I'm going to show you something. So if I put that same green over top of that black, look what happens. It's very muddy looking and very, very dark. Don't panic, it comes off.
You put a random leaf.
I just put a random glob of green paint.
I'm guessing this is in reference to the suede paint.
Mm-hmm.
Is it suitable for outdoors?
Yes, it is. Just like every decor art product, it can go outdoors. You just have to seal it appropriately, that's all.
Do you need to seal the top before using suede paint?
Um,
Going to paint it. Paint
No.
in it.
I usually seal the interior of flower pots regardless. Simply because if it's going to have anything that is going to take moisture, then you have to seal it. Otherwise the paint gets in behind, or the moisture gets in behind the paint and peels off. So I seal the insides well. The one thing, having worked in the commercial paint industry, that I do know is that no matter how good the paint is, if your prep is not done properly, the paint is going to peel or blister, regardless of the quality of the paint. You have to prepare and seal your surface for the outdoors. And in a case like terracotta pots, seal them really well inside and out before you paint. You will be glad you did. So that antique green.
I panicked.
Who panicked?
Karen Wilson.
Oh.
Random leaf. You're putting a leaf down there.
I was doing a demo, a product demo at a show one time, and I knocked over a bottle of black glaze, like jet black glaze, onto the piece that I was demoing. And there was about 70 people watching the demo, and 70 people all went, and then I just promptly took a damp cloth and wiped it all up, and they were looking at me like, have you lost your mind? It's just paint. Like, not a big deal. You can do things intentionally. If you know how to clean it up, it's not a big deal. And in this case,
she did use the suede paint on the witch.
no, actually.
Oh?
Oh, our witch.
Or, yeah.
Yes, on this one.
Something wicked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we taught it on here, yes, we did. The original piece, although, was painted on a product called Fiero, Texture Fiero, which Decor doesn't make anymore. So I had to find an alternative, and so yeah, I did.
Did you decide on a zombie snowman yet?
It's a zombie snowman. Not yet. It amazes me the things they remember.
It's your audience. What sealer for terracotta pots do you recommend?
Oh, that's an easy one for me. I use Decor's outdoor or all-purpose sealer. Decor's all-purpose AP sealer is still, always has been, and always will be my favorite.
Spin the wheel for fun.
Oh. See, told you, he's got that wheel. Now he wants to play with it. So I'm putting a second coat of the green. Carol Gansey is the winner of the second one. He couldn't help himself. He had to do that. So there we go. So you can see that second coat of green. I get very nice opacity, nice coverage, and I don't have any, irregularities in the finish. That green becomes nice and solid just on the second coat. That little base of that warm white or light buttermilk or what have you will save you so much time and frustration. So Carol, check out the front page of my website. On the homepage, lower right-hand corner, click on the little speech bubble and send us a message with your shipping information, and we will get your little goodie pack out to you on Monday morning.
That's Carol Ganzi.
Yep.
Ganzi.
I'm going to dry this real quick. So I can finish the stem. And finish out these little leaves under the blossom and on the stem. There we go.
Was that your phone?
Yep. So these leaves, this is an interesting technique. It's one I learned a long time ago. And it's still a favorite. I like how it looks. I love how this gives you such a pretty finish to these leaves. And it also gives me an opportunity to pull in a little more color. Because let's face it, this is a pretty mundane, pretty basic color palette. It's mostly white and green and black. So we need something that's going to give us a little more bang for our buck. And so we're going to start with those leaves. And I like pulling in a little bit of Bahama blue. I know I use this color a lot, but we're going to use Bahama blue in our leaves. And I'm using antique green as the base. Now, originally the pattern called for margarita. However, I don't have any. So I'm going to use matcha green.
You don't have any margarita?
No. It's a discontinued color, so.
Oh, well that.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm going to use a little bit of matcha green for mine. And I'm going to use an angled shader. Now I'm using a 3/8 angle for this. And the pattern calls for black green, another color that I don't have. So, so I'm going to use a little bit of sap green. So you could use black green, you can use sap green.
You should show them these.
No.
No?
No. They get little surprises that are showing up in some of their orders. So I'm going to use a little bit of matcha green, sorry. See, got margarita on the brain now. That's what I need, a margarita.
Do you have any tequila?
No. So we're going to start with this leaf down here. And I'm starting at the edge of the leaf. And it's a tap and pull. So I've loaded my brush as if to float. And I'm doing a tap and pull. So I'm doing them in little clusters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I give a space and do 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And then a space, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go around the outside edge of the leaf, like so. And as I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit so you can see it. So it's a tap and pull, and they're very close together. Tap, pull. And you'll notice that the heel of the brush is always pointing back towards this spot. I want to put a little daub of green here so you can see it. So you'll notice that that line from the edge of the brush is always coming back towards this little green dot. So essentially, you're creating those veins in the lines. That's what those spaces are going to end up being. So tap and pull. So now we've got those lines going around the outside edges of the leaf. I'm going to do the same thing on each of these leaves. And you'll notice that the heel of the brush is always pointing back to this point here. And it's not going to look particularly neat and tidy for a bit. Oof. Change brushes. My angle brush wasn't playing nice. That's better. Goodness, I don't think I have a good angled brush anymore. They're all showing their age. Speaking of showing your age, Thursday I went and got my second shot. It kicked my butt. So all day yesterday I felt like I'd been hit by a bus. Body aches and it was just a misery. A little bit better today, but yesterday I was just in pretty rough shape. So I felt like I was coming down with something. It was horrible. But doing a little bit better today. So again, chisel edge, 1, 2, 3, 4, leave a space. And have the heel of the brush always pointing back to this spot right here. And this isn't going to be perfect right now. This is done in stages.
There's trouble.
Oh, does Deb's here?
Yep. You got coffee, Deb? Because I just got a cup.
And that's the fun part about this, is that ability, you always have to think about the curve in the leaf as you're doing this. So it will come together fairly quickly.
I don't even know how many people are watching. 122.
Nice.
Nice.
So the one thing you always have to keep in mind is where the heel of the brush is pointing, and it should always be coming back to that point. I know I've said that 3 or 4 times already, but it's one of those things. It becomes mechanical after a while when you do this. Oof, I just messed that up big time. Let's try that again. There we go. So it does become easier the more often you do this. And especially the remembering where the heel of the brush is.
Deb is going to go get hers in about an hour.
Get what? Oh, her shot.
Her second shot.
Yep. It kicked my butt yesterday.
No kidding. You were in bed like by 8:30?
I know. Yeah, I was done. I just, kicked my butt yesterday. So I've got that first layer done. And now I'm going to put a shadow in. I'm going to do that with a 1/2 inch angle. And we're going to use that sap green for this. Pattern calls for black green. I don't have any, so I'm using sap green in the fluid acrylic.
Just all sorts of colors you're missing, eh?
I am, considering how much paint I have in this studio. So now I'm going to put a shadow on my leaves. So this leaf is curving this way, so the shadow is going to curve that way as well.
Oh.
And this one curves that way, so from the stem point, this leaf is curling this way back towards me. So I start at the stem. This one curves that way. Now I intentionally put all of these curving different directions.
Can you use plantation pine if you don't have sap green?
Absolutely. Plantation pine is actually a pretty good substitute. It's not quite as dark, but a couple of layers and you're good to go. There we are. Then we got one more down here.
Oh, I got lucky with the shots, didn't bother me, but when I got the shingles vaccine, that was a different story.
Wow. Did you get the shingles vaccine after you got the other one?
Don't you have to wait 18 months from a bout of shingles?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what my doctor told me. Okay, so I'm going to dry this real quick.
Do the little leaves under the petal get some matcha?
Yes, they do, but I wanted to finish these ones out first. So I've got my shadow on there down the center vein, but I like to do this.
What? Deb was live yesterday?
Yes.
I didn't know. I would have come and bugged her.
So I'm just putting a float of that sap green or plantation pine or black green, just like that, on the round end of our leaf. Just like so.
I had the shingles vaccine a month before the COVID vaccine.
Well, all I know is that I felt like a bus hit me yesterday. I just aches everywhere.
And all the kids laughed. School bus, right?
Yeah, school bus, all the kids laughed. So there is my shadow at the base of that leaf. I like that little shadow. It just deepens the curve of your leaf. Gives it the impression that it's a little more rounded over, which I like. So I'm going to dry that real fast.
Apparently Deb had bad cool hair, but didn't care.
And now we're going to put a highlight on these leaves with a little bit of that matcha green. I'm thinning that out. I want to have a fair amount of water in my brush for this. There we go. And we're going to put a highlight on our leaf. On the opposite, that shadow that we just put in down the center vein.
That is exactly how I would describe it, says Sheila.
That it kicked your butt.
I got hit by a bus.
Oh, pardon me. Goodness. I know Sheila it laid her out for a couple of days. It was funny because when I went for my shot, doctor asked me if I'd had any, side effects from the first one. I said, no, not really. Just sort of, sore spot on my arm. And he went, okay. He said, well, then, he said, brace yourself for a little bit of the flu symptoms. He said, you may find you get them. And chances are pretty good. Apparently, if you didn't have any the first time around, you're going to get them the second time. If you had them the first time, then they may be reduced the second time. So all I can tell you is, yeah, it kicked my butt. Took every ounce of energy away from me, and I felt like I'd been hit by a bus. So I've got my highlight in place, and now we're going to come back in again on these leaves with that chisel blend.
Who's Bob?
There's Bob. Yeah. So on the highlight side, I'm picking up a little bit of matcha green as if I'm going to float, just like we did for the edges. And I'm going to do that chisel blend going in the opposite direction with that bright spot on the highlight, coming back towards the outside edge. And you will notice that that chisel blend is aiming back towards that first set. So the result is it gives you a little bit of that texture, and it lines up with the first set that you've done. That you have done. My nose just plugged up.
What do we got here? Kathy Rain. Bummer, I put my tape in the wrong spot and didn't realize it till I pulled it off and saw that I had to match up all the edges and go over it again.
Oh. Ooh.
They really like your leaves.
That little highlight gives the leaves some texture. And again, I'm working back in much the same way that you did the first time. You know, so all of those little highlights sort of line up with each other.
Oh, here's a nice little message from Jessica. By the way, Tracy, thank you for being here for all of us, even when you don't feel well.
I'm
We
fine.
would understand if you called it off for the day.
Now I'm fine.
We're already in it.
We're in it. It's all good. I am feeling better today than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was a write-off. I did come down and work for a little bit, but I did not have any energy yesterday.
After dinner, she's like, "Nope, done. Bedtime."
Good thing it was
and you
pizza.
slept most of the night, too.
I did sleep most of the night. Yeah.
I'm really liking the leaves.
Well, I won't say it's an easy way to do leaves because it does take some practice, but the result is really nice.
Uh-oh. It's awake.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, she's just
Rearranging.
rearranging back into the sunspot. Okay. We're safe for now.
Yeah. Soot.
Troublemaker she is.
Our little demon. So I got one more leaf there I want to do just to brighten that up a little bit. I like how this effect works. I just love how this looks. It looks like rose leaves. It has that texture. And you are never obligated to just go with that. Now, remember what I said about the Bahama blue? So I'm going to rinse out my brush, and we're going to pull a little of that Bahama blue into these leaves. It's in the background. It's going to be in the flower, so I want to pull a little bit into the leaves. And I like doing that with just a little chisel blend right at the edge of the leaf, and only in a few spots. You don't want a ton of it. You can also pull a little bit into that highlight at the top of the leaf, like so. So it gives you a nice little bit of reflected color. It acts like a brightened highlight, but you don't want to have 10 tons of it. It's just a little bit here and there. And I'm using just a very light touch. I just want a little bit of this.
Late to the party, but good morning from the Vancouver Island.
Good morning.
Rhonda Biggs.
Yes.
Painting helps take your mind off of how you feel.
That's true. It does. Put your focus on something else. I think that's why so many of us look at it as a form of therapy.
The leaves are so beautiful.
So that little touch of blue, like I said, is going to act like a brightened highlight. It's also going to carry the color from the flowers a little bit. And I do love this Bahama blue. And we are going to use it quite extensively in our flowers. So just give me a couple of seconds. I'm going to finish off a couple places here. I do really like that blue. And I got a little bit right here.
Love the morning's thought of the day.
I'm not self-medicating with craft supplies. I got a prescription.
A receipt?
I got a prescription. The girl at Michael's called it a receipt, but whatever.
My first granddaughter was just born about a half hour ago.
Oh my goodness!
Congrats!
Congratulations! Babies, so exciting. So exciting. Who was that?
That was Rhonda.
Oh my goodness, Rhonda, congratulations. So, there's our leaves. Now you can deepen these even further if you like. You can let this dry and then you can come back in with a little bit of that antique green, or the plantation pine or the sap green or the black green if you want to deepen those shadows. To finish out those stems, same process. Underneath the leaf, get in there and shade with that plantation pine. We have to separate these two leaves right here. And I'm going to do that with a float of that sap green. So that's going to separate those two leaves. And he's playing with the spinny wheel again. Susan Kaltenbach.
Yay!
So Susan, go to my website. On the front page, the home page, there's a little speech bubble in the lower right-hand corner. Click on that. Send us a message with your shipping information on it, and we will get your goodies out to you. So I'm going to, those little leaves that are underneath the flower, these little leaves are going to get a little float of that matcha green. Just on the tip, because just the tip is what's actually getting some of that light. And I'm going to dry this real fast.
Susan Kaltenbach.
And then we're going to shade underneath that flower with that plantation pine or black green or sap green. I'm going to put a shading underneath. These leaves don't really need a ton of detail because they are literally tucked away. And I do want to separate that. There we go.
I can't believe I won something.
So we're going to dry that.
Oh, and for some reason it puts your name in there too.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
just leave it.
Woohoo! Might be the only way I win anything.
your own giveaways. I just won a brush set.
Woo!
Like you need it.
We always need brushes.
I think Rhonda's walking away with the best prize today.
Yeah, Rhonda, I think you did great today.
He kind of one-upped everybody.
Yeah. So I'm just using a little bit of thinned matcha green to stroke in a few stems for those leaves. And I'm not really being too fastidious with them. I just want them to go in and around. And I'm going to shade and highlight that stem down here. So the shading is going to go on this back side here. So it's just a float of that, whatever dark green you're using. I'm using sap green, but if you can use plantation pine or black green, whatever you have on hand. It's just a nice shadow down that side. And I'm going to dry it real quick, and then we're just going to put in a simple highlight. I'm going to use a weak float of that matcha green. And I'm also going to pull a little bit of that blue in, just for continuity's sake. And again, that highlight is not going to be, all that strong. I just want a little bit of light on this side, like so. So it's fairly weak. I'm not putting a ton of color in there. I just want it to be a little brighter on one side than it is on the other.
So pretty. Off to get my second shot. Congrats to all the winners today. Says Deb.
Yeah. Okay, Deb, when you get home, put some ice packs on your arm. Just saying.
You're going to need it.
So there is our little highlight on the back side, and I'm going to pull a little bit of that Bahama blue in just to brighten it. We got it in the leaves. We might as well put a little bit on that stem. Just a little. I'm going to get a little JS in there. What? Did you just scare yourself?
I just scared myself, yeah.
How'd you do that?
Leaning back in the chair.
Oh. So I'm just brightening that highlight with a little bit of that Bahama blue. And I'm going to pull a little bit onto the tips of that leaf.
Taking an
So?
antihistamine shot.
I can't do that. Wish I could. I'm allergic.
She's allergic to certain types of antihistamines.
It would not be pretty. So we've got all of our shading and highlighting done. It's looking a little bit ragged, but that is mainly because we're still seeing some of those graphite lines in there. We'll clean that up after the fact. But now I want to focus on this flower. I love this rose pattern. And this is actually the easiest part of this piece, is painting this flower. So I'm going to start with these back petals back here. I want a nice coat of warm white on there. But let me show you something cool, because I left those lines on my, when I was base coating. I can go right over those lines now, and they're still visible. So I can put my second coat of white on everywhere. And I can still see all of my lines, so I can tell where I need to put my shading. And I'll have nice white flowers.
If one is able, it does help.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could see an antihistamine helping with
Yeah.
body pain.
Oh, the antihistamine would help with the
Other flu-like symptoms.
other flu-like symptoms. I just can't take them. So I came home from the clinic after I got my shot, and the first thing I did was take some Advil. And I felt fine the rest of the day. But when I got up Friday morning, not so much. I was feeling a little sore.
Is the paint watered down?
I always thin out my paint a little bit. Just to keep it moving, that's all. So I have my white. I'm just using warm white for this. So I'm not really worried about having it fully opaque, but I do need it to be white.
What do you mean sign in to chat?
If they're not logged into their account.
You gotta have an account in order to chat.
Yeah. So have you been checking out any of the members' painted pieces?
No, not lately.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the hot sauce one.
The hot sauce ones were flippin' amazing.
What was it? Edwards came out and gorgeous.
Edwards is beautiful, but there was a couple of ladies posted this morning. One had taken the chili peppers design and she had put it onto a glass bottle.
What?
And then put lights in it. It was so cool. It was so cool.
Is that on the?
I mean, the group. I was seriously impressed. I know, they're beautiful.
That's for the.
That's Marty Mace's piece with the yellow flowers. They're gorgeous.
Nice.
Like some of the stuff these members are doing just blow me away. And they're having fun with the design challenge too, which is great.
I want to see the.
I loved.
Completely different surface.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a placeholder.
It's gorgeous. It's
Inferno,
like
hot
black.
and mild.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nobody does less than mild.
Yeah. And then that one is
Plate.
beautiful. The plate.
Awesome.
That one's Anne Roach.
And Davis.
And Davis. Yeah, that one's beautiful.
There's Marty Sumes.
And look at
Cutting
that on little
boards?
cutting boards. They're amazing. I know the members have been doing such a great job.
Oh yeah, there's the bottle with the
Yep.
lights in it.
And
Look
that
at
one,
that. Deb
yeah, that's
Pels?
Deb Pels Spelnick.
Spelling?
Spelnick. So our shading color for this rose is Bahama Blue. So I'm going to shade all of these areas in here with Bahama Blue. And these areas here where there are ripples in the petals, these little areas all get a shading as well.
Somebody was having fun with the 3D pictures.
Oh, some of
Susan
the
Haley.
some of the girls that have painted the sugar skull from last weekend
Yeah.
on the phone stand, those are flipping amazing too.
Oh, look at this. Wendy Eddy.
Yeah. Oh, she's been busy.
She's been busy. She's doing all 6.
Yep. I
Yeah,
was
all
just like,
6.
wow, so busy.
All 6, and we haven't even done all 6. I think we still got the Magnolia and the Bleeding Hearts.
Yep. So I'm thinking actually we should do the Bleeding Hearts next weekend. What do you think?
I think we should. We get that series closer to being done.
Yeah, because I've got a new series coming up, so might be a good idea to get one done at least.
Yeah.
So I'm putting all of the shading on this is all done with that Bahama Blue. So all of those little areas around that flower are getting that shading with the Bahama Blue.
Ooh, what did I miss here?
Down in the center.
Tylenol and sleep worked for me.
Yeah, that seems to have helped me. Advil and Tylenol.
Advil and sleep.
Yeah.
My second shot hit 24 hours later.
Yeah.
Left me under the weather for another day praying.
Well, the way I see it is that, 1 or 2 days of not feeling the best is better than the potential of having COVID.
Where can we see these finished pieces? Some of them are going to be on the members' Facebook page.
Yep.
And where else?
They're probably on Facebook. Some of them are going to, I'll be posting some on my page so you can see what they've been doing because they're insane. these ladies are crazy. But their work is just extraordinary. It humbles me no end to see what they've been doing. Their work is beautiful. And they're so creative.
The workman next door just started up an electric drill. Does he not understand this is Tracy time?
Apparently not. Sort him out.
Hey! I'm trying to paint!
Oh my gosh. That would be funny. That would leave him totally confused.
Yep. What is your new series? That's a surprise.
Yeah.
That's a surprise. She's already got a whole... She's got it all figured out in her head. How many to do and colors, and she's got it all in her brain.
I've got 2 of them on canvas. I've been having fun. I sort of thinking outside the box a little bit here the other day. So, I've got my shading in. All that Bahama blue.
Some questions from earlier. Can we see the July project to determine if we want to purchase the membership?
Absolutely.
That. Yes. Just switch cameras here.
Okay. He's going to. So, yeah, this is the July project for the group. And it has some other pieces that go with it. The membership patterns are always a bit more elaborate. So this one for July is all about autumn. So it's called Autumn. Autumn Gathering is the name of it. So it all relates to the fall, and it has a sunflower and buffalo check theme. And so there's also a welcome sign. I'm not sure where it is. Everything seems to be like rearranging itself in here. So
And where and how?
Where and how? The membership group is, if you look on my YouTube channel, there's a button that says join. You can literally join right from YouTube. So if you go to my channel, there is a button that says join, and you can add your membership right there.
It's because we're a partner of YouTube. We're a YouTube partner.
So I need some asphalt.
Of course you do. I gotta switch cameras again.
As you do.
There you go.
So asphaltum is...
Come over here and tell the workmen off for day. I'll tell them.
Yes.
Whether they do anything about it, I can't control.
So I'm really thinning out this asphaltum. I don't want it to be too... I definitely don't want it full strength. And it's going to tone our blue quite a bit. So wherever that Bahama blue was, you're going to go over it with a float of that thinned asphaltum.
I'm going to do it, but I'll do it for August because it's too late for me to get things in time for the class.
Class is July 27th.
Yeah. Problem is, if you don't do it now, you won't get the pattern.
Yeah.
The pattern will disappear after the 30th.
Oh, she can get the pattern. She just won't get it.
She won't get it for free.
Yeah.
You'll have to purchase the pattern. Or you can see what she's coming up for August.
Yep.
See what's going on there.
August is Christmas.
August is Christmas. Christmas is in August. Wondered when that was coming out.
Which?
Wait, what? No. That's okay. I bought last month's pattern too. All right. The video stays up as long as you need to watch in the group, correct? Yes.
Yep. As long as you remain a member, you have access to the video.
Yep. I love Christmas stuff. I already did Christmas one. Did a Christmas one, lol.
Well, you know, I love Christmas. I love painting for Christmas too. So all of my shading, again, I'm just using thinned out asphaltum. And wherever that Bahama blue is, I put a weak float of asphaltum right over that blue. And it's going to look a little mucky. I think mucky is a good word for a bit. So I'm going to take a little of that Bahama blue. And now I've got these forward petals here. I need to put a little bit of color on. Just at the base. Like so. I do it after the fact so that I can see where everything is.
I have to ask, does Sandy have these on hotkeys or something?
What?
If you're a member and you haven't joined the private members group on Facebook, make sure you do. Tracy posts pics and John's there too.
Yeah.
Either she's really fast at typing or she's developed
She's
hotkeys.
quick. Sandy's very quick.
Do you have to be on a computer to join?
You don't. I will tell you though that if you're on an iPad or an iPhone,
I'm on an iPad and I don't see the join button. And you might have to go to a laptop or
yeah, it's really, unfortunately, their software is not iPad and Apple friendly.
Yeah.
It's because of their app. It just simply doesn't work well with Apple products. But we did get it to work. But ideally, you should register on a computer.
Make sure you use the same email, the same account information
Yeah.
that you're currently using with your YouTube account.
Yeah.
'Cause if you don't,
You're going to have a heck of a time.
you're going to have troubles. What did you use to thin the asphaltum?
Same as I always use, a little Joe Sonia fast dry glaze. You can also just use water, either one.
Like milk. It is not milk.
It is not milk. Doesn't taste like milk, doesn't look like milk.
Sandy is the bomb.
Yes, she is the bomb.
She's awesome. She's very quick.
So, I have all of my shading in place, and yes, I know it looks a little bit muddy. So now we're going to go back in to our petals with white. And I'm using warm white for this. And we're going to float the outside edges or the top edges of this with the white. So this is where we get to clean up a whole bunch of things that don't necessarily look nice, where we get rough edges and whatnot. And that white will also help diffuse a few things. So this will help us clean up edges rather nicely. And it softens a whole bunch of borders. So all of those edges of the petals it's just a float of that base color. And your rose is going to start taking shape very quickly. I like using this technique because that float of white diffuses those other colors. It softens them, cleans up edges, so things don't look quite so harsh. So that, see what that white does? Even to those little borders, those lines and edges, everything gets a little softer. So your rough edges, rough lines, those all disappear. Edges of petals get softer and more delicate. And it puts a highlight on the edge of things at the same time. Just like that. Now, in this particular case, right here, see that? We've got this, what looks like a ripple in the petal. I'm going to put that highlight right to the edge. I'm going to bring it up. And then I'm going to come down that side and let that float run out. So now we've got that nice little flip over in the petal. I come back to that peak, and I'm going to come back here and float right along that edge. So now we've got a nice little ripple in the petal. And we've got another one right here. So it's a little bit shorter, but it comes out to that edge. But it needs to be a nice bright highlight on that side. And then we'll let that color run out. So now we've got that nice bright look. Now this part is fun. I'm going to get us a clean palette here. I'm going to switch to some titanium white and a little bit of Splendid Gold. Now, Splendid Gold is an Americana color. It is in the Dazzling Metallics. It is a bright gold, but it's very, very transparent. And it is, see that? This is Splendid Gold. I'm going to load my brush as if to float. It is a very transparent gold. You can see just by loading it onto the brush that that color becomes very translucent. And this is the fun part of this. This is what gives those leaves that shimmer. I'm going to put a float on the edges of my petals like this. I'm coming in about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch from the edge of the petal. And I'm just putting that little float in like so. Just like that. And so right off the bat, we get a little bit of flash and shimmer.
I can't believe I missed that. Sorry.
So we get a little bit of flash and shimmer on these petals. Just like that. It's not an in-your-face shine, but it does give them just a pretty, almost an opalescent shimmer with just a touch of that gold. So we're picking up the gold in that background right there. And I'm going to pull a little of that gold down in here as well. A little bit on the edges, right in here on that highlight. Just a little.
Okay.
What'd you miss?
Miss J.L. Brewer just became a member.
Nice. Welcome, JL. We're going to have some fun. The group has been working on some of the design challenges for the last week, and I got to say, I'm really impressed. It's a lot of fun.
What do you want?
So Miss Soot has made her presence known. So I've got my little shimmer of gold in there. I'm hoping this shows up on there. How's that look on camera? Does it show up at all?
Oh yeah, it shimmers.
So there we've got our little shimmer in, and now we're going to break out a liner brush and some titanium white because we're going to do a little bit of detail work on this. I just like this white. It brightens everything up. A little bit of titanium white. And you can come back in and deepen shadows as you need to. I see a few places where I need to deepen some shadows. But we're going to do this first with the titanium white. And I'm thinning this paint out quite nicely. Renee has a visitor on his lap. And I'm going to take that titanium white and I'm going to edge the petals with it. This does two things. It crisps up the edges of these flowers big time, but it also makes them quite a bit brighter.
So, JL, if you're looking for the pattern and other information, just go to the YouTube channel community page.
Yeah, it's in the menu at the top of the page. It says community tab. Yep.
Go there and you'll be able to get all the information you need for this month.
Yep.
And you'll have access to all the videos from June.
Yep.
Are you over my shoulder? No. Why is she wearing a red top? If she's wearing a red top, I'm gonna freak out.
You won't be the only one.
She'll freak out. OMG.
Okay.
She wearing red? I don't know. These cameras are black and white. I don't know. Orange. I'm kidding. There's no cameras in your house. Or at
So-
least not ones that I put there.
So I'm just outlining all of the edges of the petals with that titanium white.
Do you want to go upstairs and stop bugging the crap out of us?
Miss Sooters.
She could care less.
I know. Just pouring up a storm. So that little bit of white, it crisps up the edge of those petals. Also gives you a chance to brighten a couple of highlights in places. It also hides a few little oopsies along the way.
Where can I find the video of the chili peppers? Right on the front page of the YouTube channel. It'll say members only videos.
Yep.
And all the members only videos are in that category.
So I'm almost there. I've just got a couple more spots where I gotta pop this. I just don't want to put my fingers in wet paint.
Or your shirt.
Oh, my shirt has
you
miraculous.
changed
I did. So that little bit of white sort of cleans up any little whoopsies or, you know, areas that were less distinct or less clear.
Are you sure you can do that? Oh, there's Anne McGraw. We love Wally, by the way.
Yeah, Renee named your little vacuum cleaner Wally. It is a surprisingly powerful little thing. I was rather impressed. So I'm going to dry this really quick.
It sucks.
It's a vacuum. It's supposed to.
Oh, that comes out? Cool.
It's got a filter.
Okay, no filter.
Uh, great. He's got a new toy to play with, Anne. Thank you. So there is Moreau's. So the only thing left to do on this piece is to do this lettering. Now, in the original, I used a liquid metallic.
I gotta get a set of those mini brushes,
Oh, the Microns.
the microns.
Dynasty Micron.
Oh, there's Karen Jones.
Hey, Garen.
Sorry I didn't get your package out yesterday. It is too dang hot.
I don't blame
Turn
you.
the oven on to make you goodies.
Don't worry about the goodies.
Don't worry about the goodies.
So, when I did the original, I used what's called liquid gold, which is an oil-based metallic paint. But I don't really like using that type of thing in the studio because of the smell. But I wanted to show you something really neat. This is metallic luster, Deckwart's metallic lusters. And you're probably wondering why there's a little bit of Shoptel in here. These will tend to dry out if they're not kept moist. And so I always put a little piece of wet shop towel in the lid. But these will work just like a watercolor with a little bit of water. So you can mix these right in the dish with a little bit of water.
Can't send a package out unless you have goodies.
Because this is a water-soluble wax, you can do this. This is just the coolest thing. And the metallic finish is just beautiful. So I've just loaded this brush with a little bit. This is rose gold. And this is the wax. And I just loaded it onto my rigger. But look at that. So again, just with water, I can load up my brush with that. So if you don't have or can't find a nice copper or a gold, the one I'm using is rose gold, you can use these metallic finishes for this.
What about that?
Yeah, I've got that too. But I wanted to show them this.
I think the bronze would have looked good.
Well, I'm using rose gold because it picks up the copper. So there is my rose gold. And you can see this works just as easily as paint. It brushes out very nicely.
Do they reconstitute?
They do reconstitute. It'll go right back to its original shape. And it dries very hard. And it can be burnished. But this is a quick and easy solution. If you don't have a particular one and you do happen to have a nice gold or a copper in your metallic lusters, then you can use these. You can use these for all sorts of paint projects. You don't have to do them just on furniture. They also work really well on watercolor.
I bought several of the lusters. They are dried out. Maybe I could salvage them now?
You know what? Take a little piece of shop towel. That's what this is. I've got about 2 square inches there. I soaked it in water. And then just like you can see, mine actually cracked because it was starting to dry out. And that's how I get them to come back. And it takes a while. It can be a few days, but it's worth trying.
Does it have to be distilled water?
It would be best, but you know what? It doesn't have to be. The way I see it, if it already doesn't work, what's the harm? You know, if it's already dried out and you're not sure you'll be able to use it, there's no harm in trying it with regular water. I think I just use tap water for this.
Do you have to apply fixative first?
No.
Oh, do you have to apply fixative first over the rose gold before varnishing?
No, it won't take the fixative. I would usually take this out into the garage and put a matte spray on first before I did this. Because this is a finish in itself, so it doesn't need anything over top of it. And it is a wax, so it would just shed, so. Varnish first, do the lettering afterwards. Put a light spray, a matte spray on.
Sandy says, no varnish required. You can buff it up to bring up the sheen.
That's right. This stuff is awesome, and it provides such a brilliant finish. And you can recoat if you don't feel the color is dark enough or heavy enough. Feel free to put a little more on. Works well with any of the brushes. And you can just go ahead and clean your brush afterwards the same way you always would. You don't have to have 10 different brushes for this.
Would love to see you use these more.
I love these. I don't often get an opportunity to use them. I just saw one today, so. So that is how easy these are to use in an application like that. Super, super easy.
I wonder what that bang was. What brush do you use for lettering?
I usually use a number 2 rigger, depending on the size of the area that I'm painting. Most often it'll be a number 2, sometimes a 0.
But you're using a micron right now.
Right now I'm using a micron because I wanted something a little bit finer for these little lines. But most of the time I will use a number 2 or a 0 rigger.
I've never heard of these lusters before.
Metallic lusters have been around for a few years. They were designed for working with furniture, for doing detailed finishes on mirrors and textured frames and things like that. That was its initial purpose, but you can use it for so many other things. I love it for lettering because it gives you such a nice metallic finish. Now, when this is dry and I can take a soft cloth to it and burnish it, it'll come up with a nice metallic luster, like a nice soft sheen. And they're absolutely gorgeous. But you can use these on watercolor paper. I've used them on all sorts of surfaces and just mixing them with a little bit of water. Super easy to use.
Look at Sandy go. She's already got a link up for the metallic lusters.
Yep, that's my girl.
Kicking butt.
These are a really nice product to work with. And as I said, I take mine, soak a piece of shop towel, put it in the lid, and close it up. And I just store those in with the rest of my paints. They come in a variety of colors. Let's see what I've got in here. I know I've got quite a few. One of my favorites is the green. There's an amazing green in the metallic lusters.
We still have the chat, but no video. Just refresh.
So we have, I gotta have it all the toys because this is just who I am.
My God.
And this is not all of them. There's quite a few more. And these all work the same way. So I use the rose gold for this. But look at this one. Oh, this one's brand spanking new. Look at this gorgeous. I'm just using a little bit of water and look. Look at that. How creamy it is. This one is amethyst. It has a gorgeous purple metallic sheen. It's beautiful.
Is it called amethyst?
This one is called Majestic Purple.
Majestic purple.
And polished coral.
I think we need a total tour of the studio. No.
And lavish grain. This is, I think, I love this color. Look at this. That's that peacock green, you know, that green gold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a beautiful color. So when you first get them, they're usually sort of this creamy consistency, but they do have a tendency to dry out in the jar. Nope, that one's creamy too. On my rose gold, as I said, look at it cracked, but I just a little bit of wet cloth in there, a little bit of wet shop towel, and close it up nice and tight, and it reactivates really easily. This one is called Radiant Red.
You can mix the white frost metallic luster with the liquid acrylics to make them.
With the fluid acrylics, yeah.
Uh-huh. Cool.
So you can make almost any color you want. And there is a gorgeous pearl white in these. These are so much fun. Black shimmer.
What?
This one is a black lustered metallic. If I can get it open. Oh, this one is so new. Oh, this one is really dried out. But again, this one looks like a brushed,
Like gunmetal.
like a gunmetal or obsidian, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a little shop towel in that one. That one is a little dry. That's okay.
Tried to use it like wax and got discouraged. Just to brush in water. It's amazing. Now I'll be pulling mine out.
Yeah.
I have them all.
Oh, gotta have all the toys. So I'll put a little shop towel in there. It's nice and wet. We'll give that a few days and it'll be back too.
Do you know a Canadian supplier for these metallics?
These metallics, Stockade, I believe, carries them. Any Michael store has them in Canada. And Country Bear has them. These are awesome. Metallic lusters. You're going to love those. They're fun.
Okay.
Well, and they have such great colors to choose from, so you can do lots of cool things with them.
Not much of a tour for the studio, anyway.
It's not. Yeah, it would mean opening a whole lot of doors and certain things you don't want to see.
There's a cabinet dedicated to paper.
I have a cabinet dedicated to paint. 2 cabinets. 3 cabinets. Sorry.
What's in that one?
That one
Yeah.
is journals and surfaces.
Is it?
Yeah.
Open it. Okay. So the other 3 is just paint.
Paint.
Right?
One for paper, one for surfaces, and then whatnot. The other 3 are paint.
And then Tupperware containers full of stuff. And store supplies and paintings, brushes. There's an entire room filled with brushes.
So I'm going to grab a little piece of shop towel. And because this is dry now, I wanted to show you something real. So you can just take a soft cloth and burnish this. And it will come up to a nice polished shine.
It looks white on the camera.
Yeah, it's... So if you look here, I'm going to take that cloth and burnish it. And then your sheen comes up dramatically. You get that nice polished shine.
More of that rose pinky color coming out.
Yeah. But it gives you a really pretty one. So from there, all I would do really is just simply start adjusting a few things. But one of my favorite things when I'm done with this is to do this. I'm going to take a little bit of lamp black. Of course, if you had done this with a Prussian blue, then you would use Prussian blue. But I did it with lamp black, so I'm going to load up an angle brush with some lamp black. And I'm going to float around my flower.
I would love to peruse through your studio.
You could peruse for quite some time.
You'll never see the same thing twice.
So I'm just putting a little float of that lamp black around my flower just to lift it off of that background a little bit. Just to separate it from the background.
It is better than glitter. Those lusters are better than
Than glitter. Yeah. So putting that little float in behind lifts that flower off of that surface a little bit. And it knocks that diamond pattern back a little. Knocks some of the stenciling back just a little. We don't want to make it go away, but we want it to work in our favor. So I'm just putting that little float in. And I'm going to do the same thing right over that lettering. Like so. Where that flower overlaps. And it's just in a few spots. I like this.
You've done it again, Tracy. Absolutely beautiful.
So that little shadow does make all the difference. It goes from being a one-dimensional piece on top of, a bunch of stenciling. Putting that shadow in will help elevate it a little bit, brings it forward.
I've been the lucky one. Yeah, you survived my mother's studio,
Yeah.
Karen.
She's seen it at its best and at its worst.
No cleanup. Gorgeous. Thank you, Tracy. Gotta go. Always enjoy watching you.
Well, there, gang. There it is. The only thing left to do is to sign it.
Yeah, you gotta put your.
I'm going to put my scribblature on it.
Of course, you're gonna use a gold pen.
Of course.
Go.
Boom. Done like dinner.
Done.
So fun piece. I love doing this one. I think the floral is simple. It's not over the top. Just a few simple steps gets you where you want to be. Most of the work actually is in those leaves, is getting that chisel blended technique down, but it works very well. It's very effective.
Center it for. There we go. That's an
It is. It's an effective piece.
It is. And it's a small piece.
And it's small, yep. But it's a nice piece. It would make a great piece for a hallway or even a dining room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So fun and easy. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have fun doing this one. Don't forget, every order that goes through the website from now until the end of July, all of those names go into a bin and one of you is going to win that light tablet. I'm rather excited about that because I happen to really love using a light tablet for drawing. And a quick thank you to all of you. You guys show up faithfully every weekend and keep me occupied, keep him occupied, gives us something to do during the week to plan for this. And the ideas that you send my way are really inspiring, and I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to next weekend. Next weekend, Bleeding Hearts.
Yeah, let's do.
We're going to do Bleeding Hearts next Saturday. So that one right there, we're going to do Bleeding Hearts. So
that one.
Big dramatic point.
Yep.
So Bleeding Hearts for next weekend. If you don't have the pattern, it is available on the website. And if ever you have a suggestion or a request for something for us to do here, don't hesitate to let us know. And I think that's it for today.
And I want to thank JL for joining the membership program.
Yes, JL, thank you for joining us. We're going to have a lot of fun. Promise you. We've got lots coming up.
And Judy Pullen
Oh my goodness.
just
Oh.
subscribed.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
We like subscribers. Subscribers are good.
We need about 550 more.
Yes, we're aiming for the 5,000 number.
So share, like, send
So,
it around.
Yeah, share it, share the videos, share your likes, get your friends to come and join us if they don't already watch on Saturday. We'd appreciate it. We're aiming to get that 5,000 subscriber mark because it gives us a few benefits with YouTube that we can pass along. So that always helps
Like an actual representative from YouTube.
to handle some of the problems we might have. That would be good. Because we have problems.
Issues.
I don't know that he'll be able to help us with them, but we shall see.
Maybe.
Yeah. But in the meantime, guys, if you haven't got your shot and you're planning to, please do. We'd like to keep you around. And to Susan Kaltenbach, Carol Gansey, and Sue Braun, your goodies will go out on Monday. To the rest of you, thank you so much for coming and joining us on Saturdays. Mwah. We love you. Stay safe.